We are nestled just outside the Canadian Rockies, in the city where beauty, industry, and sports play a dominant part. The Canadian Airlines Saddledome is the home of the young guns, the Calgary Flames. The Calgary Stampede, billed as the greatest outdoor rodeo in the world, where contestants try to stay on their ride, while these participants try to stay on theirs. Calgary, the location of the first outdoor street luge event in Canada. Welcome to Calgary, Alberta, and the Canadian Pro-Am Street Luge's Madness in the Streets, where the sport is not new, but it is to Canada. At a pre-race press party held at the Palace nightclub for media and racers, Kirk Kayer, president of the Canadian Pro-Am Street Luge and Hard-Hitting Games, sums up the idea and inception of the first race of its kind to be held in the Great White North.
Welcome, folks. Here's what's going on. Right now, we've got a joint relation between Hard-Hitting Games in Calgary and a company called Subterfuge Land Luge out of New Hampshire in the U.S. We've decided, after seeing a little bit of footage from the X Games and going down to see some of the qualifiers down there, that this would be an outstanding opportunity for Canadian athletes to get involved in, basically because that's where the money is. The sport of street luge is extreme. The athletes are finely trained, highly toned. They compete with any of the professionals that I've seen out there in the sports field. What we're doing this weekend is on Nose Hill Drive, we're running our most extreme athletes in the world. Scheduled to race are 6 of the 9 medalists from the X Games, from the 1998 X Games in San Diego, with an additional numerous riders who are all of pro caliber. We've got 3 Canadians, specifically 3 Calgarians, who were down at the X Games. Ryan Fisher, Darren Pinot, and of course, Dr. Go Fast, a gentleman by the name of Jarrett Iwanek. These 3 guys have been carrying the Canadian flags and actually gotten a very little recognition, except internationally. Well, now it's a chance to bring the games home to Calgary. Biker?
Like you just told you, I'm Biker Sherlock. Won a few gold medals in the ESPN Extreme Games, and I'm also the president of EDI, and I'm also the owner of Team Dregs, which is the best team in downhill street luge and skateboarding right now. And basically, I came up to Canada, real excited about my sports getting started here. Just want to show my support up here, kind of get it going. Real excited about the hill. Everyone around here seems super stoked.
Hi, I'm Perry Fissler here. We're here for the first Canadian downhill street luge, and basically I'm here to take everybody on. That's right. But anyway, we're really happy to be in here and just doing this sport, bringing it to Canada. And I've been doing this for about 20 years, and it's just fantastic that the world is now seeing it. And beats doing these things illegally on roads and stuff like that. But hey, we're doing it for real now. You, man, at the sport.
Darren Pinot here from Calgary, Canada. Street Luger, 98 X Games. First X Games, kicked ass. It's a good opportunity for lots of people to get involved here in Calgary this weekend. Come on out. Research Gravity Sports, one of my main sponsors. We built street luges. Willing to help anyone out in the Calgary area. Come on down. We'll set you up.
Conditions on race day were good. Friday night brought some rain, which did hamper the course a slight bit. So the racers had to make some adjustments on their boards and their style and how they were going to attack the course. Coming through our first chicane, Ryan Fisher has to brake with his right foot in order to keep the balance, keep nice and close to the chicane, and takes on the man in black and wins his heat. Second time through, Ryan does a nice cut in on Dave Alt and goes on to win the second of his two. Balance is very important in this sport. It doesn't take much in order to control the board from left to right. That, along with the style of wheels and the type of wheels, give the riders the optimum movement down the course and through the chicanes. As you'll notice coming through the chicane on the next shot, Tim Kayer out of New Hampshire has his right leg extended to keep his balance. The left leg is in tight, and he stays very close to the chicane, picking up some speed. On the other hand, Dave Alt has his head up. This gives him more resistance towards the wind, even though both of his feet are on the board. If his head was lower, it might have cut down on the wind, brought him a little more speed through the chicane, and he could have gone on to win this heat. Tim Kayer does move on. Having a look at our riders in today's field, 1998 X Games gold medalist biker Sherlock is 30 years of age out of San Diego, California, and heads EDI and Team Dregs. Also representing EDI is 41-year-old Don Waldo Autry from Huntington Beach, California. Steve Fernando, he's out of Bakersfield, California. Representing Canada are two Calgarians, 24-year-old Ryan Fisher and Darren Pino. Also in the lineup is 38-year-old Perry the Fizz Fizzer from Westminster, California. Dr. Go Fast, Jarrett Iwanek, is a Calgary transplant, and he now resides in Redondo Beach. From the East Coast, Tim Kayer from Subterfuge Land Luge in Loudon, New Hampshire, along with Dave Auld from Lake Forest. And rounding out the field, the 36-year-old man in black, Dave Forsyth from Maple Valley, Washington, racing for Rail and Team EDI. The practice runs are over. Day one of racing is next. Waldo as we come into the chicane. Waldo tucks in behind Perry and drafts his way to the bottom part of the course. Here's the result, as Perry was no match today for Waldo. By this time, Waldo had stepped into the lead, and speaking of drafting, here is a classic example from Waldo, who we call the draftsmaster. Waldo doesn't get as good a start as Grumpy, who's on the right, and decides to go into second and let Grumpy do most of the work. As you can see here, as we slow it down, Waldo's strategy pays off. Using the draft technique, Waldo takes to the inside to win decisively. Drafting is like running interference in a football game for extra yardage. After cutting to the inside, Waldo set a speed and course record for this weekend at 96 kilometers an hour. Here it is. At this point in time, Grumpy could do nothing but throw up his hands as Waldo takes the flag. Despite Waldo's speed and techniques, it wasn't good enough to beat EDI teammate Biker Sherlock, who was on fire this weekend. Calgary native Dr. Go Fast crosses a length and a half in front of Tim Kayer to take his heat. On the bottom half of the course, Grumpy's not too happy as the Fizz goes by him. Some of the races were closer than others. In between races, we had a chance to catch up with Biker Sherlock.
Yeah, it was a great first run. I was out of the gate, quick ride through the chicanes down to the bottom was great. Little water in the first turn, so there's a little slick. So it's fun. Right on.
Despite being teammates, but still competitors, it looks as though Waldo's trying to find some way to beat Biker. If you think traveling over 90 kilometers on a board no bigger than the height of you and approximately 6 to 8 inches off the ground against one competitor is tough enough, try taking on the rest of the field. In preparation for the exciting 10-man race, a couple of 5-man heats got racers ready. But as we'll see, things do happen. Heading into the chicane, Dr. Go Fast taking out the man in black. Darren Pinot jumps back on the board. He gets himself going again. Dr. Go Fast, he's back on his and heading out. We'll slow this down again as you can see. Dr. Go Fast tries to take the inside. Man in black, Dave Forsythe, has nowhere to go.
Crash looked pretty ugly, but I'm not really that hurt at all.
As we go back to normal speed, we'll see this one more time. The man from Washington will explain just what happens and how one can try to avoid one of these.
The crash looked really ugly, but I'm not really hurt. We both hooked up going into the chicane, and when we bounced, neither of us were really in control. He was just lucky enough to be on the right side so we could get out, and I didn't have any room to get out, so that's just the way racing goes.
Before heading into the 10-man elimination round, it seems Dave Forsythe's board was not as lucky as the man in black. The crash puts him out of the competition for the rest of the weekend as we see the standings. In 10th place, Darren Pinot. 9th, Dave Forsythe. Fisher in 8th, Tim Kayer out of New Hampshire's in 7th. Dr. Go Fast, Jarrett Iwanek is in 6th. Grumpy, he's in 5th. Dave Alt is in 4th. Don Autry, otherwise known as Waldo, he takes 3rd, and the Fizz is in 2nd. Biker Sherlock, undefeated over the weekend as we head in to the final round. With the untimely exit of the man in black, our 10-man elimination is now down to only 9 from left to right. Don Autry, Waldo as he's known, from Huntington Beach, California. Dr. Go Fast, Jarrett Iwanek. Darren Pinot. Tim Kayer out of New Hampshire, along with Grumpy right beside him, and the man of the weekend who's been winning everything, Biker Sherlock. Perry the Fizz Fizzer's in there. Next to him is Dave Alt, and rounding out the field is Ryan Fisher. After the chicane, it's Biker Sherlock showing why he is the gold medalist from the 1998 X Games in San Diego. He's ahead by 4 lengths. In second is Grumpy Steve Fernando, approximately 4 inches out in front of 3rd place Perry the Fizz Fizzer. Got a log jam for the rest of the field. Waldo, Fisher, Pinot, Alden, Kayer, with Jarrett Iwanek bringing up the back end of the bus. Roger go best. Calgarian Jarrett Iwanek is out. We are now down to 8. Biker Sherlock. Waldo Autry, Steve Fernando. Ryan Fisher, Darren Pino, Perry the Fizz Fizzer, Tim Kayer, and Dave Ault. 2 days of hard racing. Fatigue is setting in a little bit of kayaking, as we call it. We're down to the 2-man. Gold and silver up for grabs. Well, the man of the weekend's got another gold medal to hang around his neck. That's Biker Sherlock taking first and the gold medal. In second, Perry the Fizz Fizzer with silver, and he seems happy about that. And after 2 days of racing, you got to have some antics in there. Perry's just ecstatic about this. He said after the race that, boy, his stomach was hurting from all the riding he'd done this weekend. If he's this happy with second, imagine what would happen if he won it. As our first Madness in the Street wraps up on this weekend, here are your winners. Our gold medalist, Biker Sherlock, taking the silver, the Fizz, Perry Fizzer out of Westminster, California. And coming in third, our bronze medalist, Don Waldo Autry. Thanks to all the riders. The CPAS would like to thank the City of Calgary, the Canadian Olympic Bobsled Luge Association, Palace Nightclub, Babutan Suntan Studios, Pepsi Cola, our Mountain Dew Dudes, the Calgary City Police Department, the EMS crew. We also showcased stand-up races for the first time here in Canada. All rights are reserved by AKC Entertainment, KD Productions. Thanks to all the riders once again. I'm Greg Lewis. We'll see you next time.